Hello, 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 hello. How is everybody doing? How's everybody feeling? How is everybody grooving today? Hopefully, you're doing okay. You're doing swell. I'm like the day hasn't been bad, but like it hasn't been great. You know, it's the sort of kind of day. But it could be worse. The fact it wasn't bad means it could be worse. Yeah? Yeah, my plan today is to play some Halls of Torment. Pretty cool game. Oh, sorry, I've got this cat that wants as much attention as I physically can give you. My plan is to just put some lovely music on as well. Maybe a bit quieter than that. But yeah, it's just going to be a simple survivor game. We're going to talk about whatever we feel like talking about. Generally, I don't have something like immediately on lock as like this is what I want to talk about. But I'm sure that there's something will come up. With these kinds of stuff, it normally does. So, you have all these different characters here. All of them have different weapons, things they upgrade and stuff. What we're going to be focusing on is figuring out how the hell I can collect the protective pendant. And where the heck that is. Like, I don't know what that is. There's an ember eye over here. I guess I could unlock the end of this. Let's try Ember Grounds. So you have all this equipment you can put on. It has all of these little different things. I just have a default that I normally use. I still haven't completed this round to the very, very end. So we're going to try that today on my favourite character, which is this dude. This dude just has a flamethrower. That's why I like him the most. Cool thing about this is they have a toggleable aim, because I genuinely think that that's something that really needs to be added to a lot of things. Because toggleable aim just means that you can play it a lot more chiller than in most ones. You can see from the art style, I didn't want to objectively say this because I'm not really sure because I didn't really play these games. But I think it kind of has like Gauntlet style. That seems like what it is. But generally, I've been playing this as kind of just a chill thing. This is my turn off my brain one. You know how before I talked about Monster Train and having just one build in Monster Train that was my turn off my brain one? This was my turn off my newest turn off my brain game. At the moment. I was having a conversation the other day about this is going to be a pretty sad thing to start talking about, but it's on my mind at the moment. And so this is what we're going to talk about. About how, like, I've realized, like, how obviously people are different. So, like, this sounds obvious, right? Like, obviously people are different. But like, even in just different ways in which people deal with horrendous situations. Like, for example, there's been like a pretty sad death in the family, right? Watching people and watching how they deal with it and watching like what their go-to things to do when such a thing happens has been very, very interesting. So, for example, because I don't want to talk about other people because grieving is a personal thing. I don't have permission from any of them. Feels like something you'd need permission from. So I'll just talk about me generally because I've gotten permission from myself. Obviously. But like I have this mindset of like I want to continue on with what I'm doing. I want to make sure that obviously everybody that is going through these horrendous situations has somebody there that they can go to and that I can be that person. But generally, I don't hate the person who's died. I just have sort of like gone, no, we're going to continue on with the way things are at the moment, you know? Make sure that there's some normalcy in the general, I guess, what's the word? Like the general a world at the moment. In a world that's stressful and there's so much change and bad things happening, there's some normalcy here. And other people have gone through it in the sort of, I guess I won't go into specifics, but the other people have gone into it in the more stereotypical way, which is, general, not lock myself off, but like, I'm going to be not consumed, but like a lot of what I've been going to be doing is based on my grief at the moment. And just weirdly, knowing how different it seems I am from that has just been a really interesting thing to come across. And I've never been that good at like empathy or anything, right? I've always been quite I've always wanted to be good at like empathizing with people, but I always forget the specifics. But I really can't figure out how to help them without personally gone through it. And so I just generally, like, I'm always there for them, but I just sort of say the things you're supposed to say. And I know it's bad to say, but use a lot of the time I either use other people or TV shows to sort of figure out what I'm going to say to these people, you know? Just been very interesting seeing the different ways in which people go about it. I love this song, by the way. It's been fun. Well, not fun. Obviously not fun. Sorry, I missed. Please don't take that out of context. It's been interesting, though. It's been interesting to see. I think generally, I can't be 100% sure, because I don't think I can really notice it, but I think I've had a notable, like, I guess, numbness, generally. But other than that, it's been mostly the same. I'm not sure if numbness is the right word. But who knows? Sorry, I'm just listening to the song. I'm also trying to get into the mindset of like realizing that in some situations it's fine for silence on these streams, even though it doesn't feel right. And that's sort of just generally in life as well. I've been trying to, and with horrendous effect, and I always forget about this. But when I can, I've been trying to think more before talking. In more so the sense of like, there's been a couple of times in my life where notably I have said the first thing that's come to my head, and it has been the wrong thing to say at that moment. And you know, you regret those kinds of things. And I'm like, I don't want this to happen again. Therefore, I'm going to make sure that in some capacity, I at least spend some time to think about stuff. Especially since, like, my ability to speak randomly has just been becoming worse and worse in recent times. Like, just flubbing random words that I feel like I shouldn't flub. You know, like, just doing, like, a run-on sentence and just not... What's the best way to put it? Doing like a sentence that I use 1,000 times that normally has one word in it, right? Like, for example, I did it earlier in this stream where I thought this was really fun, and instead of what I was surprised or what I was supposed to be saying, which was this was really interesting. And that's because every time I start, it was like I was running a program, and you know how like whenever you're on a spreadsheet or like a Word document or something, it will if you start typing in the first part of like a sentence, it will automatically go, "Oh, do you mean this one that you said earlier?" It's like my brain does that a lot, where it goes like, "Oh, do you mean this?" We'll just run on instinct. On instinct, we'll run that, and that's been happening a lot recently, and also just me not saying words correctly has been happening a lot recently. Like just then when I was saying instinct, for some reason I instinctively tried to say it as instinct. Maybe because I was trying to stop myself halfway from saying instinctively. But instinct? No, I don't know. It was very weird, and it's happening a lot recently, and I'm using that as a realization that probably because I talk to so little people in my day-to-day work, because realistically in my day-to-day work I talk like a handful of times on an average day with people, that I think my ability to speak is just being hampered in such a large amount of ways that it's affecting generally my speech now when I actually want to speak. Which isn't great, but I'm going through methods to try and solve that, right? What is it? Area to catch on fire. Ooh, that one's really good though, because this means that they start becoming an actual problem. Let's take 10% extra damage. 10% extra damage. It adds up. But yeah, it's been a weird situation. It's been a weird It's been a weird month, if we're being honest. But I've been trying to keep like stuff like this, consistent stuff, is like how you keep yourself, at least in my opinion, how you keep yourself grounded. Having consistency is like perfect. It's like, okay, well, at least no matter what happens, you've got this as like a building block. And it's been interesting because it's almost like I'm speaking on another building block that's been part of my life for a bit now. When it comes to like TTRPGs at the moment, it feels like we're kind of going through a bit of a renaissance when it comes to them. In the sense of there was initially when we started TTRPGs back, what, like 6 or 7 years ago now, where it might be longer than that actually, where it was just this, it was such a new thing and we were just constantly playing D&D. It was a weekly thing, and then another one of my friends wanted to start DMing, and so it became, okay, well, we're alternating now. We now have 2 games going on, they're alternating, we're having a load of fun, it's like, it's so hype and everything. And then we went through a bit of a dip where there was the occasional campaigns, but either they wouldn't last very long because yeah, either personal reasons would come up, or we would hit a point where I guess people weren't really interested in it anymore. I don't want to say the specifics because I don't remember exactly. But we went through a phase of that, and I feel like we're sort of having like the roller coaster's gone down and now it's going up again. Which I guess is a bad analogy because it implies that it will eventually be going down again. But what I'm saying is we seem to be at another high point now. And it isn't playing my preferred TTRPG, but that's fine because my preferred TTRPG is obviously now not the preferred TTRPG of like any of the other players, if we're being honest. Everyone else has one that they're focusing on and wishes to do, and like that's fair enough. It's one of those things where when I'm not the one DMing, I don't really have a say on this. It's if they want me in their game, they want me in their game, sure. And also, I quite like the games I'm playing at the moment. There's been ups and downs, obviously. I mean, I was really... I'm doing there's an offline Cosmic game I'm in at the moment. And I'll fully admit it. I think I might have even said it in a stream before. I was dreading it because I was not feeling the world. It didn't interest me in much ways. I wasn't feeling my character really. It was just I guess this looks cool kind of thing. What do other people want to do? Oh, they're already in these bits. I know that because they say like, oh, don't worry about it. There's supposed to be overlap, but that like overlap in my experience when it comes to TTRPGs is one of the worst things to have. Because when there's overlap, it means that just one person doesn't get to use a thing they focused in, right? Now, people will say, oh, no, that's just D&D, that's not these games. I've yet to see that. Even now, I have yet to see that in the Cosmic game, or in any other game, frankly. If anything, we've had the reverse of like, oh god, we need to have more people specializing in we need more stuff. But yeah, I was just sort of like, I wasn't feeling it in character creation. And I'm not sure how I'm going to feel with the game after we've left what is effectively the introduction area. But at the moment, I'm having a lot of fun with it. Sadly, it is a lot of work for our DM because We did the thing that you by the way, I know that it's only technically a DM if you're playing D&D, but that's I've instinctively it's DM to me now for as I know GM's technically the better one to choose, but it's always going to be DM for me. Um it is a lot more work for the DM because we have split up, but I'm finding myself looking forward to the sessions. Now it does have a lot of things going for it. It being on a Saturday instead of a Sunday gives it a huge buff because I'm ready to just sit down and play some stuff on a Saturday, whereas Sunday I'm kind of like half of my brain is thinking of like, oh, I've got to prepare for the next week of work. But I don't think that's the reasoning. I think generally I'm just having a lot of fun with it. The story's quite gripping at the moment. What's interesting is that the main story for that campaign doesn't interest me in the slightest. Well, no, let me rephrase that. It interests me, the player, a decent amount, but it doesn't interest my character at all. And obviously, I don't want to get to the point of like, it's not what my character would do kind of thing, because I know that that's always bad. And that's like literally a trope of it being bad. But it's literally just one of those things where there is a character that's effectively pretty relevant for the main story that my character has no real motivation to care about them other than obviously caring about another person's life just in general, but no more than anyone else. And in a way there's some not hidden but like pretty obvious sort of like, well, I kind of forgive you, but there is sort of a bad thing you did to me kind of thing. So it's a really interesting situation there. I'm always with both of the campaigns. I'm always slightly nervous about me having no interest in it. Because especially with the one that is streamed, I don't want to be the person that's like, hey, I'm not having any fun with this anymore. I think I'll call it, you know? But I do have to get into the mindset of like, if you're not having fun with this, don't do it, you know? But I don't, especially with the one that's streamed, I don't want to be that person because that person is, yeah, they're not doing it intentionally, but they're a Debbie Downer kind of thing. But yeah, my worry's always with that, and it is a kind of a shame that plus base spread angle, burn chance. No, we'll just go for this. There's also obviously also the fact that I have all these character ideas for D&D, but like we're never going back to it if we're being completely honest. Like unless I just decide to make an executive decision to either A, go out of my way to talk to people who I've never talked to, like go out and try and find a game for that, which is a huge step for me because I'm very much not one of those people that goes out and talks to new people. In fact, I'm the kind of person that's like, no, I think I'll just stay on my own instead of doing that. Or like, I think I'll just do anything, including severely inconveniencing myself, so that doesn't happen. Or going out of my way to be the DM of it, but don't think I have the chops for that. I don't think I have the chops of that, and actually, it to not be one of those ones that has like my worst nightmare, which would be these people are only playing with this because they're my friends. Because I can't imagine that. Like that would be so devastating for me to know that they're only playing this game because they're friends with me and they're not having fun. That would be hell for me. That would be absolute hell for me. I can't imagine that. And look, it's straight up never going to be a situation where even if I was doing horrendously, either I would know about it because it'd be so bad, they'd either mention it to me or like that's it. Those are the options if it was really like notably bad. But if it's just like okay, then like they'll just continue playing it because they're my friends. Like there's never going to be a situation where they're actually saying that. But all I'd be thinking about was they're actually saying that, you know? But yeah, it is a shame, but what can you do? You know? What can you do? I'm trying to be a bit more assertive when it comes to certain stuff. Like one of the games that I did before, and I'm sure I brought this up before because there's only so many games I've been in. I was playing a character who I loved the character, but I absolutely hated the class and subclass. Well, no, I didn't hate the subclass. I didn't hate the class. I just didn't like the subclass, and I just powered through it because I loved the character and I didn't want to like rock the boat. 100%, I should have rocked the boat and just changed my class. It wouldn't have even rocked the boat. I know for a fact that my friends would have preferred me to be having fun playing a class I actually liked. And I think it's that kind of. Obviously, I don't want to go too far the other way of just like changing my class if I just have one bad day or something. But I gave myself so much time before that. You know, I gave myself such a large amount of time and I still was sort of just I was just spending it going like, I guess I'm just effectively playing with no subclass. It's weird. I don't know. It was such a stupid thing for me to do, but I did it. I'm trying to not have that happen again. I'm also just generally trying to be a bit more honest. You know, speaking on like things I'm trying to improve, I've realized a lot that instinctively, like it's just out of instinct now, what'll happen is I'll be in a situation where there's somebody there I don't want to inconvenience, and I'll just instinctively say yes without even thinking about it, and then I'll be like, holy shit, I've just incredibly inconvenienced me, and in a way inconvenienced that person, because either I'm going to spend this whole time coming up with like a being incredibly inconvenienced to this person, well, incredibly inconvenienced to myself, or I'm going to at some point ditch them while they think that I'm, they think I'm up for it, but I'm going to ditch them at some point, and it's just going to be an inconvenience for them later. And believe me when I say that, like, that's happened enough that it's, in my brain. So you can imagine how often that's happened. I need to make sure. I need to remember that some of this fire is actually good fire that I'm making, and some of it is bad fire that the enemy magma slimes are making. But yeah, it's been very, very interesting getting into, well, not getting into, but trying out this Cosmere RPG thing. But going on to maybe a more positive thing. I've never been like, I've never read any of the books that are related to the Stormlight thing. So I had almost no, my only like introduction to the Stormlight stuff was the fact that one of my friends was really into it, and so I knew about like big events and like characters in it because of that. It's the same with all of the Brandon Sanderson stuff. Um, I had no interest in really. Well, it was interesting listening to my friend talk about it, but in the same way that listening to anybody passionate about something is just really fun to listen to. Anyone, if you're passionate about something and you want to talk about it, if your friends, I'm almost guarantee, even if they're not interested in the thing, they'll be perfectly happy to listen to you talk about this, because it's just fun listening to somebody that has such an in-depth knowledge of something and also is really like passionate about it talk about that thing. It's just really fun, at least in my experience. um Critical. I haven't got that many critical hits, but I like increasing the base damage. And I've got a bit of crit. Um, but yeah, like I went into it with absolutely no idea. And like as I said before, nothing was like really hitting me as like this is incredibly interesting. I looked at like the magic system because I'm more of a magic person. I'm more of like a higher fantasy thing. Um and like the powers were like they're not done in a way where it's obvious how you can use them for a lot of them. um and so it was sort of just like I'm none of these are like particularly go like interesting me like that are that interesting. And then the fact that there was these restrictions on it, which I'm normally a big fan of restrictions. I've played a couple of paladins in my life, and I quite like the fact that their oath is their restriction. I do believe to a certain extent the whole idea of like restrictions breed creativity. I do think there is logic to that, but I just the restrictions to it, and more specifically the tester game that we did, because we did this tester game that's like in the base book, and I think it's me personally. I think it's an absolutely bad. I don't want to say it's a bad uh, scenario because I don't have the experience to say that, but I will say that personally I thought it was not very good. My opinion on it is that it wasn't very good. Obviously, there's nothing objective there. Not only did it really feel like, and I know to a certain extent it's always going to feel like this, but it really felt like you were being railroaded because you're literally put into a cavern where you can't go either side. And no matter what you do, you fall in this certain point, and that's just a personal thing. That wasn't really the thing that made me annoyed with it. What made me annoyed with it is the I genuinely, and to this day, none of my friends agree with me in this. This is my personal opinion. I don't think the decision that they seem to think is incredibly morally evil is morally evil. I think it's grey. I don't think it's good. I just think that to say it's objectively evil is just wrong. You know, it's one of those weird things. I've had back and forth conversations about it with friends and stuff, and I don't think it's one of those situations where we can sort it out, because it's one of those points. I always bring this up where it's like, this this discussion is never going to go anywhere, because fundamentally the part that you're using to try and convince me, I don't agree with, and you don't agree with the bit I'm fundamentally trying to convince you of. You know, it's that kind of feel. But I didn't like that part of it, and then I also just didn't like the... They have these things in the Cosmere RPG that are called Spren. They're functionally spirits. They're spirits that you make contracts with to gain powers. And the one that they have in that... I think there's two, really. But the one that they show off, and it has a much larger effect on the world, is a dick. Is an absolute dick, in my opinion. And generally, my opinion of Spren in general in this show, and it may be just the ones that I'm meeting in the game, is that all the Spren are kind of dicks. They all seem just generally like not great people. And so when like one part of the game genuinely hates you, and not like the hate of like, there's been plenty characters in TTRPGs before where it's been like a villain and I absolutely hate the villain for what they've done, but I don't really hate the character. It's a really good villain, you know, it's making me feel these things because it's a good villain. I was having situations in that, well, I had specifically for that honest Bren. I think it was an honest Bren. I'm not 100% sure. I genuinely had a situation of like, this is not a person I like in general. Like, in and out of character, this person I just don't like. It's also the fact that he's portrayed as being in the right when generally I don't think he is. I think that's personally it. It's the fact that they're framed as being more on the goodish side, and I just generally just don't believe in them. But yeah, like that made me, that initial intro made me really nervous. Really, really nervous when it came to playing the game. To the point where I considered at one point just going, guys, just keep me out of the whole thing. I'll just take a step back, you know? I'll just choose to, for like the first time ever, to just go, nah, I won't be part of it. And at the end of the day, I didn't choose that. And I don't regret it at the moment, because even if at a later point it gets to a point where I don't want to be in it anymore, already I've got a moments out of what the couple sessions we've done that I personally really liked, you know? If you add on also the fact that it was playing this game with somebody who I had very brief to no interaction with before, it was like all of these nervous things were stacking on. I had several conversations with my mum about like, should I just not do this? Should I just give up? Like, say no? Like, I'm not sure about the world. I'm not sure about my character. I'm not sure about some of the things that exist in this world. There's only this part that's mildly interesting to me, and they're like a very small part of it, and it kind of feels like I'm being an inconvenience to say that I want to be one of these things because they're, that they don't fit with the story. That kind of like feel. And don't get me wrong, some of those things are still objectively things I'm worried about. But I don't know, I'm feeling better generally about stuff. It's not 100% yet, obviously. Who do I want to play next? Base damage, base crit chance, block speed, spark damage. Sage is like the generic one in the sense you can be everything. I like Holy Scepter. Let's just play the basic warrior though. Have I completed all of these? Yeah, I've unlocked agony mode on all of them. Agony mode is just like this game is even harder one. Let's go with Forgotten Viaduct, but I kind of want to play on like a higher difficulty. So let's go put the hasting on. Put this rich man's plate on as well, because I unlocked it. I really like Radiant Aura. I don't think it's good, but we're picking it anyway. But yeah, I was really worried when I started it, but I'm having a lot of fun now. And I know there's like, you said you're in 2 games and you're only bringing up 1. It's not because I don't like the other one, it's because the other one is literally streamed. So if you want to know my opinion of it, just watch me play it. You know? I have a lot of fun with it. There are times when I'm not having fun, but they're few and far between. Oh, there's a collection thing here? I didn't think there'd be one here. I thought I collected everything. It was a mistake for me to even have this thing on. I don't have the right build going at the moment, so I do think I'm probably going to lose in sometime soon. But I'm going to use this to hopefully get the material before I lose. Ooh, more damage. Yes, please. What are you? Do you have the thing I want? Kind of looks like you do. No for attack. But yeah, the Dark Heresy one. Okay, look, I'll go into me like with my things I like about it. I'm having a lot of fun playing with somebody new, because I've been, as I mentioned and sort of brung up before, playing with somebody new, not really my go-to normally, and still really isn't if I'm being honest. But it's been fun to play with someone new. I do wonder about the party sort of dynamic. It's definitely something that I know that there should be some stuff that I should be doing towards it, but I don't know what to do. Because, here's my logic. If there's 2 people that are both on different sides of the equation, if I choose any one of them to focus on, I'm dooming the other one. But I also think by trying to stay in the middle, I'm probably doing both of... I'm probably doing a bad thing as well. You know, there isn't really a good solution to this. But I don't know. It's a weird situation at the moment. Obviously, everybody's still having fun with it. I just wish I could make it so they were having more fun with it, you know? I'm also, like, not 100% sure on, like, um... I know it's going to be rich, me saying this, bearing in mind that I've chosen the most broken early game weapon ever. But I'm not 100% sure about the combat in Dark Heresy. I think it's not really supposed to be heavy combat, but that's kind of like what and I think a lot of people like to do. I like combat. It's something stupid, but the idea that, like, at least I have something to fall back on is really appealing to me. Really, really appealing to me. Yellow ones don't drop anything. Do you know what I mean when I say that? You know, like, the idea that if you're not having fun and you're not gelling with the story at the moment, maybe it's not the focus isn't 100% on your character, because, you know, there's always going to be changes in focus. You know, there's going to be, oh, this one is going to be more focused on one person, this one's going to be more focused on the other person, right? That's bound to happen. But if you are feeling like that, there's always the combat where it's like, oh, well, in the combat, at the very least, you can contribute. It's obvious. You know what you're going to do in it, you know. That's generally been my thing with it. It's always been a good sort of, like, thing to have in the background of, like, hey, at least we got this kind of thing. Is that the best mindset? No. Is it the mindset I have, though? 100%. Huh. Yeah, I worry about my ability to win here. I mean, I'm doing... Like, I'm not doing damage in a meaningful way to the big boss that's just walking around doing whatever he wants. But also, I'm not, like, dying incredibly quickly. Like, I am dying. Like, I'm taking attacks like that. But, like, not in, like, a huge way. Okay, there was a pretty huge way as well. What's funny is I get these cup things. These bottles, the whole point of them is that you can use them to like re-roll more or lock at something more. But instead, what I don't really use them often, and so I have all of these re-rolls and locks in and stuff, but they're just there. Oh no, it's my least favorite thing to fight. The Weeping Angels. You know what's weird? I realized this the other day, that, like, unless you are into Doctor Who or you're British, you probably don't know what we're talking about when we say the Weeping Angels, right? Because the Weeping Angels are exclusively from Doctor Who. And for those who don't know, what a Weeping Angel is it's a creature where, like, it's a statue of an angel with their hands over their eyes, and whenever you're not looking at it, it moves at insane speeds. And so it also has this other thing that most people don't talk about, where like if it touches you, it sends you back in time and then takes the time in which you would have lived and sucks that power to sustain itself. Like they live off eating time. I'll be honest, this is stuff that was maybe in the first episode, but I don't remember ever it being brought up in the first episode, so I only remember it from later episodes bringing it up. But yeah, that's generally what they're talking about whenever anyone brings up weeping angels. But I realized just when I was talking about it, where I was like, I don't think, like, if you're from, for example, I don't know, like, if you were from, like, Germany, would you know what the weeping angels were? If you're from, like, New Zealand, maybe you would have got some of our TV. And I know that, like, Doctor Who is vaguely popular in the sense of, like, even people that don't don't have it in there, like even non-British people, there is a following in other countries, but like I'm not sure how big of a following it is. What's with this? What's this? You don't normally come after me. Set nearby enemies of fire without blah 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 blah. Sure. Any form of damage is good. Yeah, sure, lightning. Very, very frightening. But my attacks are entirely looking at you attacks. But yeah, I realized that halfway through the conversation. Also, there was at one point, minor spoilers, that like they look at the Statue of Liberty, and the Statue of Liberty is a weeping angel, and they're like, "Oh my god!" And then that's literally it. I wish I was lying. It's a very weird thing that they do with the Weeping Angels, because they become like a standout, like this is people know about them kind of like alien. Like one of the ones they're like, oh, we're gonna have to bring that back, and it not just be like a hey, you remember this one, like sneak cameo thing. God, I was talking about this with a couple of my friends over the weekend, but I have so many RPGs that I need to play. So many on my back catalog, which is insane to say because I at one point was actively looking out for RPGs. I was like, oh god, I don't know what I'm gonna play after like Baldur's Gate. What do I do? Like this isn't out for a bit. This isn't a. I could play this, but I'd have to buy it. What am I gonna do? And now I'm just like, I have like 5 or 6 on the backlog for like, I kind of want to give this a go, but I have a slot for that, and it's filled with an incredible game in Pillars of Eternity, but a long game in Pillars of Eternity. And like feasibly, I should play Pillars of Eternity 2 immediately after it. Because, like, why wouldn't you? You want it to, like, flow on and it can record your progress. It's the same person. it's borderline like as if you were part of the same story. But I'm like, if I played these other ones, I can guarantee that they will take significantly less amount of time than playing Pillars of Eternity. But yeah, so many of them. So many of them. Which I'm looking forward to giving a shot. Especially when you compare, like, Pillars of Eternity at the moment. I'm having so much fun with it. I want to specify that because I don't want people to think, oh, he's trying to get through it as soon as possible. Oh, that's awesome. I've never had that upgrade before. They spin in opposite directions. Look at my balls. I'm having a lot of fun with it, but like it is intensive in terms of the story. Like I'm reading everything and still getting confused about some stuff because obviously I'm not reading it enough or something. Whereas there's many RPGs on my list where they're going to be a bit more handholdy about what to do. And I'm unashamedly one of those people that's like, hold my hand. Tell me what I need to do. As long as you're not, I don't feel like I'm being railroaded into a specific thing. Hold my hand all you want. I'm the kind of person that's like, look, as long as I don't know, if that random bandit camp that I was supposed to go into, this is going in more into this is going more into TTRPGs again. But like, if that random bandit camp that we decided not to go to, magically is now a goblin camp that we do decide to go to, and you functionally change nothing, and for all intents and purposes, no matter what we do, we were gonna come across this. Or like that random bandit camp that was gonna have links to a corrupt noble now is a random goblin camp that has links to a corrupt noble. Sure, that's fine. Do it. You're not going to hear a complaint from me. Unless I figure it out. But I'm very dumb. It's one of the few things you can count on when it comes to me. That I will not figure stuff out. There has been so many surprise reveals that have been brought up. And I have been like, what the hell? When was this? What? You know, not just in games, but in going back to the TTRPG thing, in TTRPGs, some people have been like, yeah, this has been part of my character. And then everyone's going to be looking around, everyone looks around like, yeah, that was, I saw that coming. Yeah, I knew that was there. And I'm like, what? What do you mean you saw that coming? Would you mean it was obvious? That was supposed to be obvious? No, I wonder. There's a bucket right behind it. Oh well, the bucket's gone forever. But yeah, that has happened several times. And you know what? I don't hate that it does. Would I like to be one of those people that finds out a secret and is able to like go, haha, I got you, DM. I know that happened. I thought about it. Of course. Do I also really love the fact that in many situations I'm like completely utterly surprised by a twist, and so I'm not like, I get so much entertainment from that? Of course. You know? It's one of the few advantages I have with bad memory and being freaking horrendous at figuring stuff out, is that not only can I watch stuff again and be surprised, I can have situations like this where I'm like, what That was the... Everyone's like, yeah, that's obvious. But I'm like, what? It wasn't obvious to me. It's one of the things that people don't bring up as much. And I love it. It has happened already in both of the games where I've just been like, this has been obvious? It's happened, I think, in like every game. Because everyone's like, oh, I've got this cool secret. And I'm instantly, if I try and keep a secret from people, I blab about it almost instantly. Or it's stupidly obvious that it's a secret to the point where when I reveal it, like, they don't say it, but like everyone's like, oh, it's like, obviously. Oh, that guy didn't give me anything except for money. Which I do like. By the way, I'm not really sure what that artifact that was like, you take 50% damage if you pay, kind of thing was. I'm guessing. It's just a guess. It means that every time I take damage, it just takes some money off of me. Where did the crow go? The crow important? Should I be following the crow? I've tried that a couple times and I don't feel like it was important. Also, what was that lightning that just went across? Was that my lightning or was it their lightning? Because if it's my lightning, cool. If it's their lightning, that's a worry. By the way, for those who don't know, chain lightning is by far my favourite thing to have in video games. I love attacks where I can hit one person and it jumps from person to person to hit every one of them. It's such a cool and fun thing, and I always get that little bit of like dopamine that comes from seeing that. Where it's just like, oh look, I hit that guy and I hit that guy as well. It's that and any form of damage over time thing where I can like put an effect on you and I can stack that effect for more damage over time. Both of those things are just like my bread and butter. They are my thing that I love. I don't burn anyone. But like, I guess if I hit the same thing twice, it's good. And that burns people. Oh, this is why I absolutely do horrendous in this. I can't kill that thing very well. And by very well, I mean like, I've killed it once. And even then I was like, I'm not 100% sure if I actually won here or whether I just was really lucky. Also, these Weeping Angels combined with him is a real problem for me. No, don't scratch yourself. That means that maybe you still have fleas. I don't want you to still have fleas. We disinfected the whole house and put flea treatment on you. You can't still have fleas. We've literally scorched earth this place. How would they live? They got nothing to live for. Leave this unhospitable lands and go to a place of much better, greener pastures. But not me. I'm not greener pastures. Okay. I need you to just... I have a new strategy here. Apparently if I'm on this edge, he just can't hit me. Oh no! We've hit the wall! Double back! Double back! Oh no, this is a problem. This is a real problem. There's more enemies as well. Oh, thank God I can think. Oh, thank God I can think. This is just objectively better. I don't think it's going to keep us alive, though. Health? Do we take health? No, health is a coward's way out. That just implies that you don't have enough damage to succeed. Please, please, please. All I'm asking for you is to not kill me, and also not to hit me, and also not to leave me in a place where other people can hit or kill me. Is that too much to ask? I've hit max agony. I'm not sure if that's good. This one? Yeah, sure. Anything that can hit this dude? It's dead. It's dead. I can't take any of this. Attack speed. Wait, do I have something that I can throw away? No, all of these are owned, and I don't know if if I throw them away that I stop owning them. I'm not sure if that's true, but if it is, I'm worried. You know what? I'll take the well, and I'll send them up the well, and then I can get more equipment if I come across any more equipment. That's genius. That's actually genius. Because anything that goes in a necklace slot is probably an improvement. Because my necklace slot at the moment is just allows me to find secret ingredients to unlock potions, but that's it. That's its only ability at the moment. Oh God, it's a big dude with a crossbow. That doesn't seem fair. I don't think you being big gives you that much of a bonus when using a crossbow. Oh, you suck. You're horrendous with a crossbow. Although being able to actually move and shoot was actually very impressive. Why does this feel like I'm in a Disney movie at the moment? An old Disney movie. Otherwise known as a good Disney movie. I don't think that's a hot take, is it? Nowadays, that's not a hot take. I don't know what these green things are. I will say, one of the things with this game that is surprising that I don't think you get in many other games is that this game has we'll take this. We'll take the burn damage buff. This game has a very, very long full game, and realistically, it did not take me long to start getting to the very end of some of these levels. And it's a half-hour game. It's not a short amount, it's not like a quick jump in kind of thing. Like if you have like an hour to play games, which I feel like once you're getting, you know, once all the responsibilities come in and yeah, maybe you have kids or something, that's functionally quite realistic to maybe have an hour occasionally to play something for yourself. When that happens, this is 2 games of this and you've already used your hour. You know, it's not. I don't remember this guy at all. Because the Hydra was such a problem that he didn't really... he wasn't considered a problem for me. Like, he's got the hand thing. That thing's kind of scary. Okay, yeah, he is scary. You got me. He's scary. As you clasp the mysterious artifact in your hands, an eerie resonates with your ears, and its hushed whispers seem to echo from the shadows. Okay. What does that mean? Is it because I had a agony max level when I did that? What does that mean? What have I done? Who do I want to play next? He's fun. He's real fun. Let's go you. You are literally... your ability is Chain Lightning. How did we not get these yet? We've been to every location. Oh, I should probably buy all of these just so that we have them. That is quite rich. No, we don't want a bonus. We want chance over bonus. I guess we should keep the movement thing. It's not annoying me. And if it means we can get more stuff, then... Spawns additional basic enemies during the entire run. Sure. We haven't done the Frosty Depths yet. This is going to come back to bite me. Just in general. Do we go full lightning? Do we do a full lightning, boy? I think we go full lightning. Once you go full lightning, you never go back. God, even with the buff to our damage, we don't one-shot these things? I mean, we are... Ooh. That's something we have to collect. Oh, I remember now. The fact that there's basic enemies that shoot lasers was the real problem. I remember you. Basic enemies that shoot lasers. Boom, 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 boom. Do, 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 do. I do worry that I'm not getting enough XP here. But I want to get this. Attack speed. Why do you protect some basic ingredients? What is the logic? Like, surely I'm making a dent in these enemies right now. I can't check on all the experience I'm getting because I don't kill enough of them to actually get around and... Area is not what I want. Damage is something I want. Oh no, there's already yellow ones. There's already yellow ones. I've taken almost all my damage. They have faster speed than me. Oh, this is not good. I don't think this is a winning run. I mean, I did happen to choose one that I'm not very good with. And then put us on a harder difficulty than I've ever played with any of the boys. So I don't really know what I was expecting. But you know, it could be significantly worse. Any form of attack speed, please. Just die. Damage, please. I just want the damage to succeed. Range is fine. I'm surprised there isn't a buff that's just duration. You know? Movement speed actually would be quite useful at the moment because these dudes are faster than me. Do you know what I mean? Like, because there's like a couple of things that like you send them out and then they have a duration. I'm kind of surprised that isn't a stat. We're taking more movement speed because the fact that now we can run away from the... I'm going to call them ghouls. I don't know what they are. In my head, they're ghouls. Or... Nah, they're ghouls. I was about to go, oh, maybe they're this, but no, they're just ghouls. Let's look at them. Multi-strike. Ooh. 10% chance to do double lightning? All the way across the sky? Crit chance on my lightning. I feel like damage is just the way to go. Not crit chance. Oh god, I've taken so much damage. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Regen, sure. In the long run, that's probably better than health. Although maybe I would want to calculate to see like actually how long it takes me to regen that. You know what? They sent it the second time. Screw it. Take the crit chance then. Oh god, I'm not killing the enemies. They're not dying. Heavier? It's good for the other lightning attack I have, I guess. Oh god, this is a real problem. Okay. Oh, do we have a chance? We do. Boomerang! The reason I took Boomerang is very, very simple. It's very, very, very simple. It's because this thing can hit multiple enemies, and AoE is kind of all we need at the moment. If we have enough AoE, doesn't matter how strong they are, we just destroy everything. Single target, schmingle target. Range? No, health. Block strength and health. Block strength is not that useful because I never go block, because I'll be honest, don't really understand it. It's more like increasing your damage immunity, but if they go above your damage immunity, you take full damage. Instead of defense, which just buffs your general damage. Okay, so we take this off, then we do this. Spark damage, oh, or just main damage 30%. Yes. Get to a point where I can actually kill stuff. I can't move around to get like the buffs, which is not a good sign, because as soon as we get to a point where like I can't dodge, we're screwed. Or like a bear mauls you for like 3 seconds and you lose almost all your health. Oh no. Oh no. Why are these bears so fast? What have they been feeding them? Who has been feeding them? Please say they've been fed. Oh god, I'm the food, aren't I? No. I refuse to be the food. You can't beat me at these kinds of games. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not talking actually about anything chill or anything. This game instantly just became hard mode because I was stupid enough to decide to make it hard mode. It's one of those situations where you're like, oh, I wish I could blame someone that wasn't me. And I am in-depthly familiar with that feeling. Oh no! Yeah, I knew that was me. That was me done. I don't know where these protective pendants are. Or what I'm supposed to be doing. Hold on a second. I've got a message. Somebody's messaging me. Okay, let's try this, but with a guy we're probably a bit more familiar using. We're not that familiar using them. We're just going to try it with someone else. See, this... What are the protective pendants? What does that mean? I'm just going to have a look around this area. Just the haunted caverns. Oh, we've checked the code. Let's try the Chamber of Dissidence. Just to see if we can find one of these pendants. What do we want to choose as our first thing? I kind of like balls, but we did balls. What do we never do? I mean, I guess you don't know because this is the first time I've played it. Let's do this one. Because it's kind of like we're shooting more arrows. Okay, force? I'll be honest, even though I've been playing this game for a while, I'm not 100% sure what half of the abilities do. Like, force, it like improves some things, and it says to look at what it improves, and I just never do. Is that bad? Area is useless. Crit chance isn't useless though. Ooh, what a crit. Ooh, another crit. What's the likelihood of that? I mean, I'm sure it's literally pretty obvious. I've been upping my crit a fair amount. Because, I mean, if you get your crit high enough, it's effectively like you just got a damage boost. You know? In a way. Okay, you need to look out for, like, special little things that'll show which direction we're supposed to go. I don't know what to do. Range is okay, I guess. Because it looks like I'm a bit of a ranger. Is this anything? No? It looks like something. Is that door anything? No? The skeletons look cool. God, I've been, as you can probably expect, at this point, the games that I'm playing, well, the games I'm playing at the moment have been like Pokemon games, games I play on stream, this game, and that's it, really. But the only other game I've sort of been playing has been, I've been getting back into, and I kind of never really leave playing idle games. Idle as in IDLE, not as in IDOL. Like, not singers, but like the thing you play in the background kind of thing. And it's the same logic as this, right? It's the same thing of like, while I'm watching a video, it's on in the background and it's sort of taking up that part of my brain that starts thinking about stuff. It's instead thinking about that. They've been interesting. I think the biggest problem is you always hit that point where they're like, we've got you now. So now you gotta wait longer. And whenever I hit that point, I'm like, cool. I go on to a next one. It's the same, I guess it's the same logic as gachas, right? Gacha games have this initial point where it's like, you got this, and you got this, and you got this. Look how easy it is. You're a natural. You're beating everything. You're the best. And then it hits a point where it's like, oh, you're going to need some time for this. Oh, you're going to need some more time against this, aren't you? Oh, maybe you'll spend some money to make it easy. Oh no, you're just going to spend a bit more time. That's fair, that's fair. But the next one's going to be even longer. And you're going to have more strategy. But you wouldn't need strategy if you just spent money. Oh no, you spent some strategy. You've used some strategy here. And then it can increasingly gets more and more like that. I don't get to the strategy stage, I'll be completely honest. I get to the stage of going, okay, that's cool. It's cool that that's a thing. I'm now going to stop playing. Simple as. Unless it's somehow able to, what's the word? Enthrall me to the point where I would have to force myself to use strategy. But I've yet to come across anything like that. If such a thing does happen. Here's my logic, by the way. I'm going as far away as I can from the bonuses I can get and the well. Because I'm like, where would they put something? They put it so far away that you can't even... It'll be on the other side of where everything is, right? God, it's been a while since I had this backing music on. I forgot how badass it gets. I love it when someone's just like, hey, violinist, just jam out. God, I love apple juice. You know, I realised, I was told this the other day. And by the other day is me actually just saying, I've known it for a while, actually. Do you know, like, when they're making fruit juices, if they want to save on money, a lot of companies, unless, like, you're getting the proper high-quality stuff, they kind of just cut some of the more expensive stuff, like tropical juice. They just sort of cut it with apple juice. So when you're eating, like, when you're drinking, like, a tropical juice, it's like mango, passion fruit, maybe it's got some dragon fruit in it, maybe they've gone properly tropical or something. I'm not even sure if dragon fruit is a tropical fruit, but I just said something that felt vaguely exotic. But then, like, 80%, well, probably not 8, I don't know the exact percentages, but, like, probably a decent amount of it is bulked out with apple juice. Just apple juice. Don't get me wrong, I never really have a problem with that because I like apple juice. But if you weren't an apple juice enjoyer, I imagine that would annoy you. Or I guess if you were allergic to apples, you'd be freaking annoyed that you can't have other fruit juices. It's like I'm not even trying to have apple. It's just in everything. God, what you know what's really weird is you'd assume that as soon as it gets cold outside, the cats would be like, "Oh yeah, I want to be close to you now because I love you," but actually it's just that they want the heat. Weirdly, my cat didn't do that when it started getting cold. It was like halfway through the fact it was cold that they decided they also wanted to spend time with me. I think it's mainly because they were like, "Oh my god, you've gotten rid of our fleas. Those things were so annoying." I just kind of attribute a lot of things that happened to you, which is fair. Because like 90% of the time, it is us that are the reason behind it. You know what I'm going to do after this stream is done, right? I'm going to immediately go and find out where the protective pendants are just by looking on the internet. And I'm going to go, perfect. I'm going to go get those now. Just 10% more damage when fighting a boss feels like a good idea. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. I went and bought the second season of the Living Worlds, even though that there's been somebody who's come in my chat and said like it's not that good, because it's like I kind of like it when people say that because it means that it lowers my expectation on stuff. But like people said that the latest expansion of FF14 wasn't that good, and then I had a load of fun with it. So you know, I take everything people say with a grain of salt at this point. And try and make my own opinions on these things. I say this, but I will not play a game if I will not buy a game if I look at the reviews and they say it's horrendous. But, and this is important, if I get the game for free and it has bad reviews, I will give it a shot. I say this because I've done that many times on Xbox Game Pass. Because almost all the reviews on Xbox Game Pass are, I couldn't get this working. That's it. It was just I couldn't get the game working, and then I'll boot it up and it'll be like this is completely fine. I tried out another roguelike. I guess this isn't a roguelike. Well, no, there is meta progression, so it is a roguelike. It was called like, oh, what was it called? Hold on a second. I don't want to get its name wrong. It's on the Game Pass. It's called Monsters Are Coming Rock and Road. Really cool concept where it's like it's a tower defense kind of in a sense, you've got like a home base that's shooting out and doing the majority of your damage, but the home base is moving, and you're around it collecting resources and collecting XP for the main base. It's very interesting. I just immediately went, this game is just not for me. Because I couldn't, I don't know, I couldn't find myself, like, I was like, I found myself going, this is a really cool concept, it just isn't for me. And I know that me saying that that's just repeatedly saying that and not actually giving any context is, like, probably not a good thing to be saying, but that's just genuinely how I felt when I was playing it. I was just like, I don't know, it had all the components of a really good game, but I never found myself going like, I want to do another run of this. And I played a couple runs, because I was like, okay, well, maybe if I force myself to just do a couple of them. Force myself sounds wrong. Like, maybe if I'm like, I will choose to have another go at this. But no, I just didn't find myself going like, this is what I want. But I would genuinely consider it if you're considering trying to get into a roguelike and you have the Game Pass. Give it a shot. Give this a shot, obviously, as well, if you're into Survivor-like games. But yeah, really interesting concept. God, have I told you how glad I am that one of the big things for a while, but like more so in like the last 2 years, the big thing was Survivor-like games, because I adore them. When the like the big thing for people to make is Survivor-like games, I'm, when it's something that you like, God, you're winning. Back in the day when like Call of Duty style games were the big thing, I did not feel like I was winning. But now it's like this, and I'm kind of hoping, I may be just, completely wrong in thinking this, but I'm kind of hoping with the advent of Baldur's Gate and the advent of Expedition 33 probably going to, if not do a landslide and get everything, still get a significant amount and be like the most voted game ever. I'm hoping that the lean towards turn-based RPGs, like large turn-based RPGs with insane characters and professional voice acting, is the way that people are gonna go. Because let's be honest, when it was like the Binding of Isaac came out, and roguelikes became the big thing, I'm not going to say it was the only reason, it's just Binding of Isaac is what I think of when I think of the OG, sort of like roguelike that kind of game. When that came out, there were blimmin' thousands of people who took that concept and made their own versions of it. Many of them were horrendous. You know? There's no denying it. Many of them were absolutely horrendous. But the thing is, most of them were decent. And that's kind of all that I need when it's a genre I like. For example, one of the games that I'm considering is like, this is a game I will give a try. when I finish Pillars of Eternity. One of them is uh the latest Dragon Age. You know, the one that people were literally memeing on some of the dialogue in it because it was like not only completely anti the law, but also just felt like such sort of it was so much pandering to an audience that even that audience was like, this is horrendous. You know, like this is not. It was so obvious that even the people it was pandering to were just like, were just like, this is stupid. This is horrendous. What are you doing? I'm willing to give that a try. In fact, it's on my list and probably is close to, if not at the top of the list of things I want to give a shot. And like that's sort of what I'm getting at when it comes to this. When people make the copies and they're like relatively like bog standard. I mean, I played the Egyptian Assassin's Creed and the Greek Assassin's Creed. And if I could get my controller to work properly, I'd probably play the Norse Assassin's Creed. And I loved the first two. They were a ton of fun. I played through them. There was constant, like, there's so many stories to do. It was this large world that, like, I loved. I love ancient Egypt and I love ancient Greek stuff. I like more of the mythology, obviously, but the world itself is beautiful as well. I played through that tons, you know, and it was objectively not a incredibly good RPG, you know. But that's sort of what I'm getting at with it, is that like I will play those. And people will like be like, oh, but this bit was horrendous and this bit and the story didn't make sense X and Y and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, that makes complete sense now that you've said it. Still had fun playing the game. I had fun playing Starfinder. It's just that another game came along that I wanted to play a bit more, so I stopped playing it. But I had a ton of fun playing Starfinder. All I heard was criticism about that game when it came out originally. But I was just generally just having decent amount of fun just playing through it. In fact, I would make even go as far to say I only played Skyrim in the last like 5 years, right? I had more fun playing Starfinder than I did playing Skyrim. And I don't know if that's like a hot takey thing or anything, but like it's just because maybe I was more into the space stuff than I was into the. No, that's not true. I'm normally into the fantasy more than the space sci-fi. I just had a lot of fun with it. I don't know what to say about that. It's just. And so, like, I don't have a particularly high threshold for playing. And so I'm probably get a lot of fun out of this game, even though the dialogue's horrendous. I'll just ignore the character I know it's specifically relating to. Because I know which character it is. Because, I mean, I'm not going in completely spoiler-free. Because I've seen the dialogue that people talk about. But, I mean, somebody at work talked about the game and was like, look, the combat's okay, the story's fine, other than that bit. I played Mass Effect Andromeda. I had quite a decent amount of fun with that game as well. It's nothing compared to the Mass Effect games, which I came from and was like, these are incredible, I can see why people consider them masterpieces. But they were fun. Wait, there's something here. What? Like, it's on my screen, apparently. But, like, I don't know where it is. So, it's there. By the logic of this game, it's right there. Okay, fair enough. Found it. But yeah, it's gonna be fun playing those kinds of things. I can't wait for every form of Baldur's Gate style copy or Expedition 33 style copy. I'd love it if the Final Fantasy team decided to make a turn-based game again. Because I was never into Final Fantasy when I was young. Is this the protective amulet? No. And so, I missed all the hype relating to it. And then all I had left was the later games, which generally are not as well received. And I don't want to buy myself a PlayStation just to play FF7 Redux or whatever it's called. Also, it's not fully out. It's split into several parts. So I was just sort of like, well, I haven't really had the chance to try out these things. So it'd be cool to have a modern modern Final Fantasy game that I can play as turn-based because I'm horrendous at anything that's related to real time. I mean, you're seeing it in Pillars of Eternity at the moment and in, I guess, Guild Wars as well to a certain extent. I'm just horrendous when it comes to this stuff. I don't have the hand-eye coordination. And I don't even know if it's hand-eye coordination that's the problem. But I don't have that. I know I don't have that. I've never had that. I don't know where that thing is supposed to be. I've been on this before, and there was a laser, like a tower with a laser on it, and it was those things that we saw before, but one of them was glowing and it was shooting a laser. And my guess is if I find that one and I connect it to the other lasers, I can then move it to an area where there's a area where you do the, what's it called? The thing from Indiana Jones. The something of Ra. The staff of Ra. There's something of Ra. You do that. The winged dragon of Ra. Do you ever find it weird that in that show, in Yu-Gi-Oh, just in general, I'm sorry this is completely off topic, but I just was reminded of that. You had like the 3 legendary beasts. You know, you had like Winged Dragon of Ra, you had Slifer the Sky Dragon, and you had like Obelisk the Tormentor. And yet I feel like generally people talk about Winged Dragon of Ra, people talk about Obelisk the Tormentor. They don't talk about Slifer the Sky Dragon, which is weird for me to say because that's the one that the main character had for a long period of the time, right? Like the main villain had the Winged Dragon of Ra. Obelisk the Tormentor was always with the rich boy. What was his name? Oh, I don't remember his name, but the rich boy that was his like antagonist slash early on he was just the villain, and he kind of is always a Kaiba. His name was Kaiba. Like Kaiba always had Obelisk the Tormentor, and Slife of the Sky Dragon was Yugi's one, and yet for some reason that one I feel like is the least well known or the least like beloved. I think it's because of the abilities. Because I believe Slifer's whole ability was around like how many cards you had in your hand. Enemy stunned by... Stunned? Cool. That's my guess. Because it always felt a bit clunky to use. Never in the show, obviously, because in the show they can do insane things. Also in the first show, they just don't follow the rules. They don't even lie and like give them insanely lucky draws. They just don't follow the rules. I was surprised to know, by the way, because I was watching. I happened to come across like a clip of modern Yu-Gi-Oh! And like what the new stuff they're adding is, because it's still going on. I don't know what like I don't know if this like the TV series is still going on. Because I know it went to GX, then it went on motorcycles with 5D, and then I stopped at that. But I think it went to like there was a couple, and then like there was Zexial or something. There was Synchros. No, Synchros was 5D. There was like Constellations, and then I think that's where it stopped. But like I was really surprised to find out that there is still what's the word? They're still getting new elemental heroes. Like they're still doing the GX thing of elemental heroes. They're still a thing. Which I think is really interesting. Because it makes me realise that I think maybe GX, which was my personal favourite, but I think generally Yu-Gi-Oh! GX was the one that I think was when it was at its highest popularity. Because I don't think for a second that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is at its highest popularity now. Maybe in terms of numbers of people, because there's just so many more people in the world, but definitely not in terms of like percentage people playing, and you know, like profits probably. At least in my opinion. I could be completely wrong. I mean, it's one of those things where it's objectively, it's the whole thing that happens with Doctor Who as well, where like, I'm sure I'm sure there's an equivalent in everybody's culture, but it's like, oh, what's your favorite version of X? Oh, it's whatever one you were brought up with, you know? I was brought up with late original Yu-Gi-Oh! And then early Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. And actually, I say early, I continued... I probably should have stopped at early GX, but because I watched cartoons... I never really stopped watching cartoons. I watched into like late GX, into early 5D, but I just stopped caring at that point. Which is weird, because the setting of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D is like really weird. It's like... It's not post-apocalyptic, but it's definitely like... It's not a good world. It feels like things are being run by corporations. And like, the main character is like a freedom fighter slash... just like... low-paying, trying to survive on like whatever money they can get person. But also they have a motorcycle, because the logic is that they use motorcycles in their dueling now. This doesn't... I don't think it has any narrative reasoning to the show. I think whenever they're doing the big synchro, they do like a turbo boost. But like, you're not also racing in a race where like, if you come first in the race, it actually ever matters to the fight. Like, I don't think it does at the very least. It's been so long since I watched. It might be 15 years since I last watched a Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D episode. Maybe? It was very weird, that show. Very, very weird. I didn't hate it. Like, I never came across... I never went, like, I hate this concept. I just think it was one of those ones where it just didn't... I think I had outgrown it at that point. Which is weird to say, because later on I would still be watching things like Steven Universe, that was quite obviously meant for younger people than Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D, that was at least supposed to be like gritty and cool and like vaguely cyberpunky for its time. Like, I don't know. It was a very weird concept, and I don't know why they went from it being relating to ancient Egypt, and that being its big thing, to then going to, okay, it's modern day now, which it was always modern day actually. So I guess not modern day now. It was always modern day, but they were dealing with ancient Egypt stuff. It went from that to modern day, but there's dueling schools, and it felt very much like a sequel. You saw characters from the old show. They were still alive. They weren't even that much older. Like, maybe at most they were like 10 years old. 10 years older. Actually, no, because there was a bit in it where a character sends their custom card into space and it gains powers. And he did that as a kid, and he's then at least a teenager when he's at the school. So I guess probably 10 years is a good shout, actually. But like, it felt like a direct sequel, with everyone but the main character appearing from the old show. Like, you saw hints of Kaiba, you saw hints of Pegasus. I don't think you saw any of the big bads, like the dude with the Millennium Puzzle. But you saw all the others. One second, let me move a bit. But, like, I don't know. They went from that, and it did get very, very wacky, don't get me wrong, in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Like, near the end, you have, like, we're in a world where your duel monsters come alive, and they have feelings, and, oh, the main character gets possessed by, like, the card he sent into space, and now has glowing eyes and is evil, but then he gets out of it, and then he fights them, but then he uses the other card he had in space, and also the card that he sent into space kind of loves him? Question mark? Which is interesting. It brings into the question of, like, okay, how much sentience do these cards have? Because if they have, like, proper sentience, should we be sending them into battles where they constantly just die over and over again? Do they remember that? I remember there was a random lady who was just an Amazonian. And I don't remember if they functionally mentioned why. But I'm not just saying that because she was big and buff. Although she was big and buff. But in the sense of, like, I swear she mentions that she's, like, from the Amazon or something. It was a very, very weird show later on. But I can't deny it was pretty fun. Pretty fun to watch. I really liked the one where a cult appeared in the school. And a random, really old dude was just allowed to live in the school because I'm not sure it was ever brought up why. But he just turned one of them into a definite cult with mind control and everything. Wait, he was using a card as well. Yeah, that was very, very weird. I'm going to give... I'll be honest, I'm probably going to go down a rabbit hole of looking up Yu-Gi-Oh! GX lore now. So that's what we've gotten off the stream. Hope everybody had a great time watching. I had a decent amount of fun just playing and talking with people and, like, chatting about whatever came to my mind. So it was fun. I'm probably pretty good for my mental. Who knows? Anyway, thank you for watching. I will see you on Wednesday for Pillars of Eternity. I'll see you on Friday for some Guild Wars 2. I cannot wait.